Mercedes team principal, Toto Wolff, has taken a strong stance when it comes to the negotiations between the team and his drivers, further fueling rumors about a potential Russell exit. Now that both he and George spoke about the uncertainty of their collaboration, could we see a shocking development of events in which Russell and Max will change seats? And more importantly, has Wolff kept his top priority in Verstappen, despite all of the statements about his current lineup? It's a very difficult situation to be in if you're George Russell. But the reality is what it is, and you just have to accept it. Max Verstappen's contractual situation is sending shockwaves day after day in the Formula One world, and it looks like it's not over between him and Mercedes. The Silver Arrows team principal Toto Wolff sent yet another warning towards his drivers when it comes to continuing the collaboration with Mercedes. As if we didn't hear enough, Wolff has continued to spark rumors about the connection that his team has with Max Verstappen, putting Russell in a very poor position ahead of the 2026 season. When talking about this, Wolff emphasized that it's very important for him that the driver needs to be a team player if they want to receive a contract with Mercedes. Of course, this is highly unlikely to be the case with Verstappen. But when you have a four-time world champion in his prime available to be signed, you do have the luxury of using different excuses in order to get rid of one of your drivers. Elaborating on this, Wolff said, "There are other people who are part of your success. And how I've been managing this from the first day that I've been in Formula One is that I made no difference between the two drivers and the rest of the company. I've been telling them that there are 2,500 superstars on this team, whether they work in the machine shop, in the cleaning, in aerodynamics, or driving the car. I'm not going to treat you any differently than any of the other people. If you are selfish and you put our joint success at risk, or you damage our brand, then I'm going to be ruthless about it. You have no part in this team." Once this is out there, we need to immediately talk about Wolff's stance on Russell's contract. The Austrian said loud and clear, there's nothing political in the delay between these talks. But the fact that Russell is now an enhanced driver after his race win in Canada puts them in a situation where they need to think carefully about the future and the opportunities they're giving to him. Certain conditions are being given only once. And if Mercedes plays their hand a bit rushed, they could see a massive flaw further down the line. Now, why are these statements so controversial and questionable for George Russell? We saw how important Kimi Antonelli is to the big picture of Mercedes. He's never going to be questioned in Mercedes, especially after the solid results in the first podium in Canada after just 10 races with the team. Wolff dubbed the Italian to be the next Verstappen, rightfully so because of all the potential he's shown in the lower categories. And Wolff did miss the opportunity to sign Verstappen once in his career, so I highly doubt he'll pass on this opportunity twice. The actions are also very convincing as to what's happening out there. Mercedes is delaying the contract talks with Russell, and they're waiting to see what Verstappen's decision is. Even if you're 99% sure that this is the lineup with which Mercedes and Red Bull are gonna enter the season in 2026, you can't say for certain. And that 1% is always gonna keep asking questions in your head, especially when you know that Wolff's interest in Verstappen hasn't simmered down a single bit. I know that that statement of Wolff is not directly applying to Russell. It's just a warning that a team member needs to put the team first. If anything, it spells bad news for Verstappen, because we've seen how the four-time world champion acted with Red Bull's engineers when something didn't go his way. But what we also saw is that the Dutchman learned to be humbled in certain moments, such as the Barcelona Grand Prix decision of his race engineer to let Russell pass. Despite Verstappen not agreeing with it, he said loud and clear that we take the wins as a team and we take the losses as a team. That is definitely what Mercedes needs to bring themselves back on top after the poor stint starting from 2022. This is precisely why Wolff spoke about the success of F1 drivers and Mercedes being embedded in the intelligence of the drivers. And it's likely that's what he's going to search for in his next driver, whether that would be Verstappen or Russell. Elaborating on this, Wolff said, "I believe that the best drivers also have social intelligence and emotional intelligence. They know how to maneuver a paddock. They are career-driven and focused, but they are not selfish. Lewishamilton is a fantastic team player, and he's been the most successful of all time. So you see that, with the best talent and ambition, but also consciousness that it doesn't all revolve around yourself." Let's not forget what stance Wolff took with Verstappen when it comes to the latest clashes between the Dutchman and Russell. Although he did say the four-term world champion was at fault, he didn't go as aggressively as he went after Red Bull. The plan is clear. Damage Red Bull as much as you can, but leave their pearl, Verstappen, safe from your words. That way, you're protecting yourself from a potential bad reputation. And if Max decides to leave, Mercedes is gonna be on the top of his list still. And what about Russell's situation here? He hasn't been related to Aston Martin for nothing. The Silverstone-based squad understood the opportunity that they have with the Brit. Apart from Verstappen, Russell is the hottest property out there to be signed, and it's precisely why Aston Martin want to make him the leader of their team under the newly regulated era. Of course, it's been denied by Russell that he's talking with other teams, but he also claimed that he's yet to sign a contract with Mercedes, and their future is all but certain. Addressing this to a greater extent, George said, "No, the future is not certain. I'm not talking with anybody else and any teams who have shown interest. I've been quite open to saying that my intentions are to stay with Mercedes. That's always been clear. And, you know, I'm loyal to Mercedes. They gave me this chance to get into Formula One. There haven't been any hard feelings with any of the talks that have been going around. You know, especially around Max. Because, like I said numerous times, why wouldn't teams be interested in Max if everyone could sign him? It's very interesting that even with a race win in Montreal, Russell wasn't able to shut down the rumors about his future in Mercedes. Not only did he fail to do so, but he sparked them to a greater extent. All of the F1 world is now speaking about whether or not the Silver Arrows are going to pursue Verstappen or they'll remain stationary with their current lineup. The luxury is on the side of Mercedes, because they can wait and see what's on the table out there. But if you're Russell, you need to pick up your next move very carefully. George said himself that there are no hard feelings in his heart when it comes to Mercedes' interest in Max Verstappen. As he elaborated, there haven't been any hard feelings with any of the talks that have been going around, especially around Max. If every driver had no contracts for the next year, Max would be number one for every single team. And that's understandable, but I'm not concerned at all about next year. I know I'm going to be on the grid next year. I feel in a good place. We're in no rush to do contract negotiations. We want to win together. It's a very interesting point of view because, on the one hand, Russell said that there's no need to rush things, and he's certain he'll continue with Mercedes. But on the other hand, he says that he isn't worried at all because he knows he'll be on the grid in 2026. It's not really a convincing statement in the middle of these suspenseful talks, especially now that you have Antonelli as your teammate. The Italian driver is now obviously gaining a lot of momentum, and the F1 media is viewing him as the next champion of Mercedes, not Russell. It's up to him to carry this hype into reality, because when the pressure's so high, one of two things could happen. You could either break or turn into a diamond. Nevertheless, the Russell situation needs to be addressed very soon because, with every day it's delayed, the worrying fact that Mercedes might be waiting for Verstappen's decision is going to rise. Until pen's put to paper, I don't think these rumors are going to go away. As I mentioned, they're only going to grow, So it's up to the Silver Arrows to put everything to squash. That is, if they want to keep Russell on the team from 2026 onwards. As for Verstappen, I don't think the Dutchman is going to force his decision. Although, chances of him remaining in Red Bull are more or less 99. That 1% is keeping all of the sides entertained. Red Bull is in free fall, and with Mercedes's proven engine dominance, 2026 should be the pivotal turning point for Verstappen's career. With all of this in mind, what do you think will happen between Russell and Mercedes? And more importantly, do you think that these contractual delays are going to affect George's future to a greater extent? Let us know in the comments below. And once you do that, make sure to click on the video that's appearing on your screen right now.